Okay, thanks very much. We're back now with Sam Gallucci, who is also running for governor. Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you. I'm a 60-year resident of California. I was raised in Los Angeles, went to school in San Diego, and had a very successful business career in the Bay Area. 1981, I graduated San Diego State and started at IBM. This was before the internet was a thing, before Microsoft, before Apple, before the software industry, and had the privilege to be a part of pioneering an entire industry that obviously has changed the face of the world. And I was privileged to be on the ground floor of birthing one of the biggest industries in this tech space, customer relationship management. By the time I was 35, I was traveling the world, speaking as a luminary. I was an entrepreneur, started several companies with a few others. By the time I was 40, I was an executive vice president, general manager at PeopleSoft, running a multinational company. At 42, I left that life and came home, and my wife and I got involved in social causes. I then went back to school, became a licensed ordained minister, pastor of a church, a senior pastor. And one of my first assignments was to become a pastor to the homeless. This is in 2008, from which I started another company called the Kingdom Centers, where I've had the privilege to help thousands of homeless off the streets, bury the homeless, address the community issues. Our Kingdom Centers included significant community involvement. As a community organizer, I got the whole city of Ventura around solving this problem. In 2012, city of Ventura attacked our church, and we took him to federal court and won a major First Amendment rights claim to protect religious liberty. And in 2014, got involved in working with the undocumented migrant farm workers and have planted 5 churches amongst the Hispanic community in the last 7 years. So all of that brings me to this time in history where I do have the business experience to run the state, 40 years of leadership experience and community organizing experience to unite us. I have actually worked in the homeless industry for 14 years. I actually have, and I'm sure the only candidate that has actual experience solving this problem. And I do have a plan, a very strategic plan, in-depth plan to address the homeless crisis. And then the other thing that I think is really important about me is I have earned the trust of the largest single voting group in the history of California, which is the Hispanic community. And I do have a lot of work that I am doing to awaken the Hispanic community to join conservative causes and a conservative rising above party and what we have in common to bring California back. That's a little bit about me.
Okay, well, thanks very much for that introduction. Let me ask you, maybe drill down on a couple of things. Tell me a little more about your plan to address the homelessness problem, because that is a big problem in this state, especially in the cities.
Yes, absolutely. There are 5 pillars. I have a book coming out, look for it in the next week, called More Than Animals. 5 pillars to address this problem. From experience, in-depth experience. Number 1, we have to stop the bleeding. Those that are about to become homeless, we need to provide aid to them. This is critical right now. In the last 3 years, Gavin Newsom has spent $13 billion and homelessness increased by 24%. That means every year we have another 10% or more of our general population becoming homeless. Stop the bleeding. Those pre-homeless, we need to keep them in homes. Number 2, we need to address those that are sleeping in their cars. This population represents hundreds of thousands that are desperately holding on to the last bastion of humanity and insanity, which is sleeping in cars. Create a statewide safe sleep program. I've done this successfully in our cities, and that can be done statewide. Number 3, we have to create neutral grounds in our major populations of homelessness. We have 70,000 homeless in downtown LA, another 15 to 20,000 in San Francisco, 160,000 in California. That is an enormous number of people, and not all homelessness is the same. So you've got to create neutral territory in these major concentrations to vet the population, to bring the service providers and the resources and the people together. So I'm proposing compassion centers. We can get these up and running in a matter of a couple of months, where we vet the population. We provide general humanitarian services like a place to go to the bathroom, take a shower, do their laundry, have a hot meal, and we vet the population there. There's 3 major categories of homelessness: recently homeless, moderately homeless, and chronically homeless. The recently homeless, we can get off the streets in less than a year by stabilizing their environment. The 4th thing we need to do is consolidate all of our services and get the crime rate under control. Our citizens right now are being attacked by so much crime. There are drug cartels in these major areas. I was just in Skid Row last week, and these drug cartels, the Mexican drug cartels, are taking over these cities with fentanyl-laced crystal meth that it is exploding and making that population even sicker and more addicted. So we have to coordinate our resources, give the police what they need to get crime under control. And number 5, we need to create compassion planned communities. And the stupidity of trying to build more homes in downtown LA, where it's $500,000 plus to build a room and it takes years to get it through, is part of the incompetency of this government, not really understanding homelessness, the industry, the services, and the process. With the billions of dollars in the budget, over $4 billion, I think, is allocated in this next budget, probably more than that now. We have more than enough to incent cities. I'm believing for 12 cities that have hundreds of thousands of acres of land at their disposal, and incent them significantly to literally build communities of compassion, where by right, by code, and by conditional use permitting rights, all of the services can be provided. The mental illness treatment centers can be built to solve the mental illness problem, and we can build homes. Look, we can build homes for $1,000 a unit. We just need the land, and we need the proper cooperation. And there are many cities that are struggling in our state, and with the proper incentives, we can create the environments to get all of these services together, and then we can move these populations out of these major metropolitan areas where it is atrocious living conditions. They're dying every day, and the infrastructure does not support them, into places of safety and peace for everyone. 5 pillars will solve this problem.
Yeah, well, you've actually addressed about 3 of the points I was going to ask you about: the drug problem, the homelessness, the crime, maybe even a little bit about companies leaving the state. Let me ask you about something else. Just today, the mayor of San Francisco announced a new directive that everybody has to be vaccinated to enter a business. And we might see something like that statewide. All the kids are back in school now, they're wearing masks. I wonder how you feel about a mask mandate, a vaccine mandate, and the potential of another statewide lockdown.
I'm opposed to it all, and here's why. Look, when it comes to our constitutional rights as citizens of America, we are free people. We don't operate in slavery or under mandates. And the ironic hypocrisy of this government, which by and large believes in a woman's right to choose, that only means for an abortion, but certainly not with any other services. The hypocrisy of that. If a woman has a right to choose by this government, then everybody has a right to choose their own body, what gets injected, what chemicals get injected in their body. Look, I'm not against vaccines. I've had many vaccines myself. I am against any policy that mandates vaccines of people. This is a matter of freedom and choice. Every single Californian needs to make their own medical choices about what is put in their bodies. It's just that simple. We honor those that have gotten the vaccine. I think vaccines are a good thing. And we also honor those that choose not to. And when it comes to the children, the parents are the ones that have the right to determine what's right for their kids. My word, there are so many laws right now that the schools can't give certain medical treatment for their parents. They certainly can't usurp that and say, accept a vaccine. And we're forcing our college age students before they can take their final years of college to get vaccinated. It's absolutely insane. We need to let people make their own decisions. And that is why I'm running, because our freedoms and our liberties have been attacked. Mass mandates, I believe, are silly. The data just doesn't suggest that we need those mass mandates for our children. In fact, there's a lot of data that shows it does more damage than good. I would eliminate all mass mandates. I would eliminate all vaccine mandates. I would tell Californians, you're free to make your own choice. Let every business make their own choice, and let the free market and free people do what they feel is best. And that's the difference between me and this government. I believe in Californians. I believe they have enough smarts and sense to make sensible decisions, and the government needs to just stay out of our business.
Okay. All right. Well said. Thank you. So last question, Sam, if somebody wants to get a hold of you or support your campaign or find out more about it, how do they reach you?
They can reach me on samgallucci.com. And let me say, my campaign is truly unique. When you look at the breadth of experiences I have, the three things that I bring to the table: leadership, servanthood, and compassion. And if anyone has a better idea than I'll hire them on my team. But we have to fix the foundational problems to fix the major problems. Whoever wins this recall is in office only 1 year. And I think it's disingenuous for all the candidates to talk about their grand plans to fix everything when they're in office only 1 year. And they have to have a 1-year strategy to get reelected, which, by the way, for a conservative, hasn't happened in 20 years. I have a 1-year strategy for the 4-year strategy to make sure we take California back and give it back to its people for the next 30 years. I want to ask you to join me. Check me out, samgallucci.com. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media, and let's start a fire to bring California back to its people. God bless you, and God bless the great state of California.
Okay, thanks very much.